Good evening, I'm Andrew Lawrencer. First tonight, the former Marquette County Information System Manager has filed a lawsuit seeking his job back. According to the former employee Paul Carley, he was wrongfully terminated after trying to call attention to a systems audit that he says was not being done correctly. As a result, Carley says employees of the private audit company may have been given access to sensitive county information that they were not cleared for. We caught up with the cybersecurity expert Patrick Crowley, who provided some insight into the case.
I tell people, I could sue you today for stealing my airplane, right? So just the fact that I file a lawsuit is relevant. Then at some point, I have to prove that you in fact stole my airplane. So this is a lawsuit. There's a lawsuit that's been filed. Just because it's been filed, it doesn't mean that anything in there by definition is true. Now, I think that, if you've read through it, I think that they did a pretty good job of laying out the facts as they see it. And the county will have 21 days to file a response.
A Marquette County administrator telling us that lawsuit is strictly a personnel issue and declined to comment further. Of course, there's a bit more to this story than that. MyUP's investigative reporter Skylar Perkins has been digging deeper. Skylar?
Leaders in Marquette County wrongfully fired their information systems manager and needlessly put residents at risk? Those were the questions we began asking after receiving a tip email last week pointing us to a civil lawsuit filed by former county employee Paul Carley. In his complaint, he's asking to be reinstated to his job as well as to be given back pay, attorney's fees, and a yet unspecified amount of damages. The county, of course, told us the lawsuit is a personnel issue and declined to comment further. And when we sought out Carley, he was also hesitant to talk, but laid out the broad strokes.
They told me to give passwords to an unvetted agency, and when I refused, they fired me.
However, it's not exactly surprising to hear that a fired employee feels they were wronged. That's why we took Carley's claims in the complaint to local cyber law and security experts at Northern Michigan University.
My read of this complaint says that two things are a problem. First and foremost, it looks like there was somebody that was allowed to use the system, was given the proper credentials, and then that person left. And then somehow there was some type of pressure and some sort of encouragement that these other individuals should be allowed to use the system.
The other was that a hacking device used by the auditors may not have been authorized, unduly giving the auditors access to private medical data and law enforcement information systems that have strict agreements that could be revoked by the state, which Carley calls attention to in the suit.
If they weren't to have access to that, that would obviously hinder law enforcement's efforts in Marquette County.
Ultimately, Professor Crowley said there are things we don't yet know that could sway the narrative drastically, that could largely be revealed by the contract between the county and the private auditors. Mark Watson and Crowley pointed us in the direction of further information to seek from the county, which we've since requested by FOIA.
I would want that CJIS contract. I would want the KCS scope of work.
And noted while law enforcement's data access could be revoked, it's not terribly likely from what we know right now. Mark Watson summarized the situation as still unclear whether this is a case of an IT hero sticking up for proper protocols or a hard-headed IT worker unwilling to take orders from leadership. As always, we'll keep you updated as we learn more. From IUP News, I'm Skylar Perkins.
All right, very interesting. Thank you, Skylar, for that insight. Those next steps, of course, being the county's answer to our FOIA request and to Carley's complaint, both due within a month. We also want to take a moment to note our approach to allegations of this nature. As Crowley said, anyone can file a lawsuit about anything, and we feel when accusations like this are made, you deserve our due diligence to go beyond a one-sided story, to tell you what that story means, whether it has merit and what it could mean for your family. That's our promise to you.